Leaving a 5-star review doesn't summon any spirits, probably. But it does help Vivid Nightmares reach more true crime lovers who like their cases with a side of creepy. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen, click the stars and help me keep the nightmares coming. Hey y'all, welcome back to Vivid Nightmares, the podcast where the shadows whisper and the South remembers. I'm your host, Bridget, and tonight we're rolling down dirt roads, creeping through moss-draped trees, and peeking behind the veil to meet the ghosts who've never really left. From folklore passed down on porches to legends scrawled in dusty county records, this episode is all about those southern spirits. You know the ones, the lady who cries by the lake, the hag that creeps into your room, the lights that float across the desert like they're alive. And no, we're not talking about tequila-induced visions, although, fair point, these are the stories that chill your bones, make you glance over your shoulder, and leave a little something behind, even when the lights come back on. So grab your flashlight, lock the doors, and let's dive into the haunted, the whispered, and the deeply unexplainable. This is Vivid Nightmares, and these are the southern spirits you won't forget. Vivid Nightmares. Nestled in the rolling hills of Adams, Tennessee, lies a patch of land that's been whispered about for over 2 centuries. It's quiet, beautiful even, but beneath that serenity is one of America's most chilling, persistent hauntings. They call her the Bell Witch. Now, you've probably heard some version of this story before. The Bell Witch has popped up in books, ghost tours, even a Blair Witch reference or two. But let me tell you, this ain't your run-of-the-mill ghost story. This is a poltergeist with an attitude and a grudge. It all starts in 1804, when John Bell moved his family from North Carolina to a farm in northern Tennessee. They settled on over 300 acres of farmland, built a nice house, had kids, grew corn, wholesome pioneer stuff. Everything was peaceful until it wasn't. Because, of course, in true don't get too comfortable horror story fashion, strange things started happening. By 1817, members of the Bell family began hearing strange noises in the walls, gnawing, scratching, chains dragging. At first, they thought rats, or maybe raccoons, because surely the dead weren't invited in. Then the sounds turned into whispers. And then, a voice, loud, mocking, cruel. The voice called itself Kate, and it had a serious vendetta against the Bell family, especially John Bell. Oh, she hated him, and she did not shut up about it. Kate, the witch, spirit, demon, whatever she was, began physically tormenting the Bells, slaps, pinches, choking sounds in the night. Betsy Bell, John's daughter, was her favorite target. The poor girl couldn't catch a break, and this wasn't some hushed-up family drama either. Word spread. Neighbors came to hear the spirit talk, and it talked back in full conversations. Oh, and get this, President Andrew Jackson, the guy on the $20 bill, he came to investigate. When Jackson and his men camped near the Bell property, their wagon suddenly refused to move. The horses froze. One man screamed he was being hit by invisible hands. Jackson allegedly said, "By the eternal, boys, I'd rather face the British again than this Bell Witch." And the next morning, they left. By 1820, John Bell had been worn down. The witch had harassed him day and night for years. He started having seizures. And then, one morning, he didn't wake up. When his family checked his medicine cabinet, they found a vial of a strange black liquid. No one had ever seen it before. Kate's voice rang out, "I gave him that poison." And then she laughed. At John Bell's funeral, that same voice interrupted the ceremony, loud, singing hymns, mocking the family as they buried their father. After John's death, Kate declared her mission complete. She left, or so they thought. She promised to return in 7 years. And some say she did. Others believe the Bell Witch never left Adams. There's a cave near the old Bell property now called the Bell Witch Cave. Paranormal investigators have reported cold spots, shadows, even disembodied voices. Visitors have claimed to feel watched. Some say they were scratched. One woman fainted after hearing the words "get out" whispered directly in her ear when she was alone. So what was Kate really? Was she the spirit of a wrong neighbor like some legends claim? Was she a demon in disguise? Or could she have been a reflection of something darker festering within the Bell family? I mean, therapy wasn't really a thing in 1817, but the Bell Witch's story lingers, still whispered across generations. And if you ever visit Adams, Tennessee, just remember, don't call her out by name. She might answer. All right, we're leaving Tennessee's haunted hills and diving straight into Florida's swamps because apparently the South just refuses to run out of weird. But this one, oh, this one stinks, literally. We're talking about Florida's very own cryptid, the skunk ape. Florida's Everglades are gorgeous, but also kind of terrifying. You've got gators, snakes, mosquitoes the size of small drones, but apparently none of those are the most unnerving thing out there. Leaving a 5-star review doesn't summon any spirits. Probably. But it does help Vivid Nightmares reach more true crime lovers who like their cases with a side of creepy. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen. Click the stars and help me keep the nightmares coming. Locals started reporting a big, hairy creature lurking just beyond the tree line. It walks upright, smells like death warmed over, and has glowing red eyes. They call it the skunk ape because, well, imagine Bigfoot if Bigfoot rolled around in sewage and swamp cabbage. Like, this is not a cryptid you invite to brunch, y'all. In 2000, the Sarasota County Sheriff's Office received an anonymous letter. Inside were 2 blurry photographs and a story. A woman claimed that something huge, had been lurking in her backyard. It walked like a man. It was covered in reddish-brown hair, and it smelled like it had been dead for a week. She begged authorities to investigate, writing, "Please help me. I'm afraid this animal is sick and might be dangerous." The photos? Creepy, low-res, classic cryptid stuff. But what made this one stand out was the sincerity in her voice. She sounded terrified, not like someone looking for attention. Since then, there have been dozens of sightings. Hunters, hikers, campers. Paranormal groups have entered the Everglades armed with cameras, heat sensors, and the bravest mosquito repellent ever manufactured. Some claim to have caught howls on audio. Others, just the smell. And I'm sorry, but when the odor becomes part of your cryptid's legend, you know it's unforgettable. So, what is the skunk ape? Some say it's just a misidentified black bear. Others think it's an unknown primate species. There's even a theory that it's an escaped government experiment because, Florida. It's never just a bear with a bad hair day in these stories, is it? And yet, when you talk to locals, especially older ones, they don't laugh it off. There's a respect for the creature, an unspoken understanding that maybe it's better to leave it alone. If you ever find yourself camping in the Everglades and you smell something foul, like rotten eggs, wet dog, and despair had a baby, maybe don't follow the sound. Maybe zip up the tent and pray you're not the next blurry photo. You've heard of vampires. You've heard of witches. But have you ever heard of something that rides your soul? Meet the boo hag, a creature from Gullah folklore that doesn't just haunt you. It steals your breath while you sleep. Deep in the low country, along the salt-stung shores of South Carolina and Georgia, lives a story passed down for generations through the Gullah Geechee people. Have your own theory about tonight's case? Think the wrong person was blamed, or maybe someone wasn't blamed enough? Hit us up on Instagram or TikTok and drop your theory in the comments. I love hearing your take on these twisted stories. Your voice might even make it into a future episode. The boo hag is a skinless, red, sinewy creature, often described as something between a spirit and a shapeshifter. But here's the catch. By day, she's just your neighbor, your friend, that sweet lady down the road. Because boo hags steal human skin and wear it like a disguise. Yep. We're officially out of the creepy zone and deep into nightmare fuel territory. At night, when the skin is safely tucked away, she slips through your cracks, creeps in through your window, and sits on your chest while you sleep. Not to hurt you, at least not right away. but to breathe through you, to feed on your energy, to ride your body like a horse. And when she's done, she slips out, gets back in her skin, and walks among you like nothing ever happened. You'll still hear old-timers warn, don't let the hag ride ya. It's more than just a spooky saying. It's a warning passed from mother to daughter, generation to generation. Some folks believe that sleep paralysis is a sign you've been ridden, unable to move. A weight on your chest, a buzzing in your ears. Sound familiar? Science says it's a brain glitch. The Gullah say it's something else. The Gullah culture doesn't just tell tales, they protect themselves through root work, a mix of herbal medicine, ritual, and spiritual armor. To keep boo hags away, folks line their doors with brick dust. They place blue glass bottles in trees to trap wandering spirits. They sweep their homes, light candles, and carry handmade charms called mojo or gree-gree bags filled with protective herbs. They know never to leave mirrors uncovered, because if a boo hag sees herself without skin, she screams. The boo hag isn't just a monster. She's a symbol of fear, of protection, of history that lives and breathes in the bones of the South. And whether you believe in her or not, just remember this: the next time you wake up in the middle of the night, unable to move, unable to scream, maybe, she's already there, out in the high desert plains of West Texas, where the stars stretch out like sequins across a pitch-black sky. Something flickers, not headlights, not campfires, but strange bobbing lights that seem to dance, dodge, and disappear without leaving a trace. And no, this isn't the setup to a UFO story. Although, it could be. This show runs on coffee, research rabbit holes, and southern ghost stories whispered in the dark. If you'd like to support Vivid Nightmares, consider leaving a rating and review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. It really helps the show reach more listeners. And if you want even more haunted history and unsolved stories, visit our link in the show notes to grab bonus content and more. Thanks for helping keep the nightmares vivid. The town of Marfa, Texas is tiny, like blinking and you'll miss it kind of tiny. But since at least the 1880s, yes, the 1880s, people have reported mysterious lights hovering just above the desert horizon. They appear in the same spot south of Route 67 near the Mitchell Flat. Sometimes red, sometimes white or blue. And they move with an eerie intelligence, zigzagging, splitting in two, even chasing curious onlookers. Locals call them the Marfa lights. Scientists call them unexplained atmospheric phenomena. Well, they've been trying to debunk them for over a century. In 2004, a group of physics students from the University of Texas spent several nights trying to catch the Marfa lights in action. They figured it was probably, you guessed it, headlights from nearby cars reflecting off temperature layers. Science ruining all the fun since forever. But here's the twist. Some lights had no measurable source at all. Locals say those are the real ones, the ones that seem to watch you back. Long before science came sniffing around, the Apache believed the lights were fallen stars, spirits watching over sacred ground. Others say they're the restless souls of Spanish conquistadors still searching the desert for gold. And of course, UFO sightings? Oh, they skyrocketed in the 1950s. Listen, it's Texas. There's a conspiracy theory for every cactus. But here's the thing. The Marfa lights don't show every night. You can't predict them. You can't chase them when they want to, and they vanish just as whether you believe. If this episode gave you chills or made you side-eye your hallway, share it with someone else who loves a good scare. Word of mouth is how we grow this haunted little community. And trust me, the more of us here, the darker it gets. Send it to your favorite true crime buddy or that one friend who swears they don't believe in ghosts yet. Whether you believe in natural gas flares, ghostly spirits, or something far less explainable, the Marfa lights are a reminder that not everything in this world can be cataloged, tested, and filed away. Some things just are. They shimmer. They haunt. They remind us that the world is still full of wonder and a little fear. And maybe that's not such a bad thing. Thanks for tuning in to Vivid Nightmares. This week, we wandered through Gullah ghost stories, trailed swamps, peeked into the shadows of mental hospitals, and chased floating lights across Texas. So this week was a wild ride. First, we got cozy with the boo hag. Spoiler, she's not the kind of house guest you want slipping into your skin. Then we had a little chat about the Bell Witch, who's basically the OG ghost girl boss of Tennessee. After that, we took a detour into the Florida swamps to track down the skunk ape. Think Bigfoot, but smellier. And we wrapped it all up chasing those mysterious Marfa lights out in Texas. Like, are they aliens, ghosts, someone left the headlights on? Who knows? But we had to find out. If you've got a favorite Southern ghost story, or maybe one from your own hometown, I want to hear it. If you like, I can add it to my TikTok ghost stories. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Vivid Nightmares Pod. Your stories to vividnightmarespodcast@gmail.com. And hey, don't forget to rate and review the show. It helps new listeners find us in the dark. Until next Friday, keep the lights low, the windows locked, and remember, sometimes the shadows are just shadows, and sometimes they're watching. This show runs on coffee, research rabbit holes, and Southern ghost stories whispered in the dark. If you'd like to support Vivid Nightmares, consider leaving a rating and review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. It really helps the show reach more listeners. And if you want even more haunted history and unsolved stories, visit our link in the show notes to grab bonus content and more. Thanks for helping keep the nightmares vivid